Welcome in to Inside Carolina postgame coverage. Carolina completes the sweep here in Clark-LeClair Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. Tar Heels leaving on the bus after closing out East Carolina 6-3. Grace, pretty impressive performance here by Aidan Haugh.
It is his best performance as a Tar Heel. He had 10 strikeouts, 5 innings, really set the stage. If you don't have him give a performance like that, then the Tar Heels aren't winning, the Tar Heels aren't sweeping, and this is their first weekend sweep of ECU ever.
Yeah, I think they won 3 games against East Carolina back in 2007, but that included a regional win and a couple midweeks. Also, we've got to talk about Hunter Stokely this weekend. I mean, he was 4 for 5 yesterday, 3 for 4, I believe, tonight. Just a complete performance at the plate by him. He's really stepping up and doing things for this Carolina team.
The Tar Heels are really lucky to have him back in the lineup. He was sidelined all of last year with a wrist injury. He's back, and he's not exactly the entire swing all the way for the fences hitter like he used to be. Head coach Scott Forbes just talked to us about that. But he's more precise. He did hit a home run tonight, very nonchalantly. But he's also just dropping balls in the gap, and he's really been an on-base machine, which they really need for this new station-to-station, gap-to-gap style offense that they're playing, where they have less explosiveness than last year.
Yeah, I thought one of the good questions to Coach Forbes after the game was the offense is not even clicking, yet they're 7-0. They've been able to string together enough hits and station-to-station work to get wins. East Carolina came in. Bats woke up yesterday for them a little bit. They came in tonight. The jungle was live. It was a little less people here overall than I thought. It's still cold in February in Greenville, but the jungle obviously had effect. We saw Kane Kepley and Rom Kellis struggle out there in the field a little bit. I mean, maybe fan interference, but umpires said it was not. But at any rate, Grace, your thoughts overall on Carolina's performance in this 3-game series, the traveling series that they're calling it?
I think it's 3 very different performances, you could say. I think our Saturday performance, which was originally supposed to be Friday, but due to weather, this has all kind of been shifted around. On Saturday, it was at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, and Jason DeCaro, he and Walker McDuffie, the pitching was the story of that game. They shut ECU out. The offense only scored 2 runs. The at-bats kind of seemed to lag behind a little bit, and Jason pitched wonderfully, and McDuffie's really emerging as a closer candidate, a really big key piece of that bullpen. And then yesterday at home, they turned 13 hits into 11 runs. That's how you win a game. Not only did they had an okay start from Jake Knapp, whose pitch count got a little bit high early, and then they had Folger Boaz come in and show just how important having a lefty reliever can be. He and Walker McDuffie, I think, were 2 of those reliever stars of the weekend, and they hit a lot. And tonight, they were also able to hit a lot. They weren't as able to get guys in, but they're really working on that precise hitting where they need to hit it, and they're trying to click it together of when they need to hit it.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of opposite field hits through the gap, beating the shift and all that. We got to close this talking about the pitching. Obviously, you mentioned Jason DeCaro on Saturday at DPAP. A great performance there. Knapp struggled a little bit, but was picked up by his guys. And then tonight, Folger Boaz was fantastic yesterday. But then today, Aidan Haugh with the long outing for him. Camron Seagraves comes in, gets it done, bridges the gap, and then
Maddie, hometown boy, comes to end it. He told me earlier this season that I think last year, his freshman year, when he played, he was in the bullpen and he was getting heckled by his church youth pastor since he is a Greenville native. I don't know if that happened tonight, but he pitched really well. It seems like there's more left in the tank for him. I think his velocity is a little bit down. Head coach Scott Forbes said that too. His fastball is more at 91, where I think with a little bit more rest, it'll look like 94. So that's something they kind of need to keep an eye on. It slipped at the end of last season as well. But Aidan's performance, I think that is really big. No matter if they use him as a starter or they use him out of the bullpen, that is huge. He's really worked on using that changeup to both righties and lefties. He still let up some hits. He still walked some guys. That's his biggest problem, is the command in the walks. It happened last year. It happened a little bit tonight, but it seems like he's really improving in that direction. And if he keeps trending upward, then he can be a really dangerous weapon because he has a few pitches that are really special.
Yeah, he's throwing probably 55, 60% strikes. He needs to get that up. Obviously, to save some of those pitches, he can go deeper in the games than he is. Matthijs comes in, gives up a home run to a D3 pinch hitter who's had a good series against North Carolina. and then settles in and gets the strikeouts. One thing I'll say is if you've never watched a college baseball game in the jungle, you need to do it. It doesn't have to be Carolina, but it needs to be a big ball game. This is a fun environment. Yes, they heckle. Yes, they yell. Yes, they sometimes get in the way, but it's a great place to see a college baseball game. Grace, you've been here, I guess, a couple times. Did you come last year?
I came last year and the year before.
And the year before.
All years.
And she would vote to come play and come watch a game here. Get down here to Greenville, see North Carolina play next year. I guess we'll do the traveling series again. Any final thoughts before we get out of chilly, cold Greenville?
I thought this was a great ECU series for them, probably the best that I've seen. If they can put together all of the parts from the different games this weekend, the best parts from each, they are going to be golden. The offense seems to be really picking up, and I think this is really helping head coach Scott Forbes figure out where he's going to place his pitchers. And I mean, they're having 8 games in 9 days. So they play tomorrow against VCU at home, and then Wednesday against A&T at home, which was rescheduled due to snow, and then they host Stony Brook. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this shakes out.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot more pitchers. East Carolina threw 14, 15, 16 pitchers in the last 2 days. Carolina's going to have to throw some pitchers we haven't seen thus far this season, I think, over the next 2 nights against VCU, against A&T, and then Stony Brook and the Bosch. As always, stay tuned to Inside Carolina. Stay tuned to Grace Nugent's Nuggets on the Inside Carolina Diamond Hills message board. And stay tuned to all the coverage and all the great photography from Matt Clements and Jim Hawkins. I'm Tommy Ashley. That's Grace Nugent. Johnny T-shirt and Congruity. We're signing off here in Greenville. Carolina completes the sweep in the traveling ECU series.